Um, Mike wanted me to introduce the partner section. It's a partner opportunity that we want to talk about with you all today is really around how do we take this opportunity that we all seem to agree on is quite interesting and compelling in the market because of all the disruption and all the changes in the market and the trends. So that's the opportunity on the one hand. We've got this eGain, which is this little technology company that has some interesting and very useful products and technologies. And we have some proof points around good customers that you all saw. How do we take that story, that proposition, and apply it much more widely? How do we do that in a systematic way? And how do we do it quickly? And the answer for us is that we want to create a network and ecosystem of partners. We have been partner-friendly for a long time, but we haven't really invested heavily in the partner ecosystem up until, say, about a year ago, except for our Cisco partnership, which, for those of you who were in Rob's earlier presentation, heard that that's been a long-term relationship for us. But we were sort of pulled into it as opposed to investing proactively into it because Cisco was sort of setting the pace, and we were happy to respond to it. But in the last year, what we have done is we have brought together a small team, but a very high-quality team. Mike's running the partner group for us. AJ is running the entire Cisco go-to-market for us. So these two guys are key in the US. Of course, both of them have a global remit. Our goal, and what you'll hear this afternoon from Mike, is very simple. We're not trying to invent new ground. We're not trying to invent a new business model. This stuff has been done before. You have done it with other technology companies before. What we can promise you is that we will do it well so that we train you. We bring you into the right opportunities, and so do you. We partner with you, and we enable you so that you can take this success of technology, which is very interesting but still very limited, and apply to a much, much bigger market that we all know can be ours if we work as a team. So that's the whole product proposition that we are trying to work with you to deliver. And that's the partner message that I want to give all of you. We are committed to the partner model. We are early in the partner cycle. We want feedback from you, what you think may be more important for you, whether it's on the marketing message, whether it is on the sales enablement, whether it is on the implementation and support side. One of the big things that we are doing as a company is pushing much more toward the cloud. We've had the cloud since we started the company in 1998. But now cloud has become this big, big thing, and we are more than happy to take full advantage of it. So internally, we have this message. We say cloud first. So we believe that our clients are going to be much more successful with us. They can accelerate the adoption of innovation from eGain if they go into the eGain cloud. And we want you, our partners, to align with and work with and benefit from that trend, right? So if you have the ability to work with your clients, with your markets, and take that cloud message, I think that's going to resonate very well. Also in alignment with one of our key partnerships around Cisco, that whole joint proposition, which, as you all know, Cisco is also moving into the cloud world very aggressively and going through partners for that. I think that's another very interesting message that could be well received by your partner, by your customers in the short term. So those are the things I want to leave you with. I'm around and happy to engage with anyone who wants to. But with that message, I'll let Mike take on and tell you more about what we are doing for the partner enablement process. So thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Ashu. So good afternoon. I want to start with a bit of a story. I have been on board here for about 7 months. And when I was going through the interview process, I obviously met with Ashu. You've heard what he's had to say and the importance that he places on the partner program and what partnering means. But then I kind of met with, the head of development, the head of sales, the head of professional services, and had the same conversation. So, all of the names, there's Anurag and Pramod and everybody else. And the message was consistent every time I had that conversation. So it was a really powerful message to me that there is a commitment within the company to go do something. As Ashu said, we have been partner-friendly for a very long time, but we've kind of done it piecemeal. Cisco is the partnership that kind of made us understand and made us realize that we have to kind of create a process and a program and a structure that will allow us to enable our partners properly. So really and truly, that's really what it comes down to. But where I want to start this afternoon is I want to tell 3 stories. The stories that you've all heard before. They're around customer engagements that we've had with some marquee clients that we have out there. But each one of them has got a partner component to it and has generated revenue for that partner. So that's kind of where I want to start this thing today. So we're going to talk about the partner value, and I'm going to start talking about how that can be converted into, as I said, a revenue stream for yourselves. And moving forward from there, talk a little bit more about our partnering philosophy, the enablement process. Ultimately, enablement is the key to this. Prior to coming here, I had 9 years with CA Technologies, and what that taught me was that what you really have to do, and every conversation I ever had with a partner there was basically the same, and it was answering 4 questions. The first one is, where do I go get my information from? The second one was, where do I get trained? The third one was, what collateral is available to me? And all 3 of those, not necessarily in that order. Most of the time, it was the 4th question, which is, so where do I make my money? So as I came in 7 months ago, that's what I focused my attention on, and what you're seeing today is the culmination of that process. Because what I also found, again, going back to the point that Ashu was making, is that as you look at that process, and you look at this company, and you look at the fact that they have been partner-centric for a very long time, a lot of what's out there, I'd love to tell you that I did it all. I didn't. What I did was I went inside of our organization and I found a lot of the pieces already existed in there today. And what it was really all about was kind of bringing those together under one umbrella, creating a framework around the outside of it, and putting it into a place that would be usable and understandable for a partner community, which I absolutely firmly am committed to growing, but growing in an intelligent way. So that's what we're going to talk about. So the first 3 that I want to talk about out there, the first of the 3 is Avon. You don't hear much about Avon because it was driven out of Europe, but it is a global implementation. Avon looked to us as an organization to help create an environment where they could service the Avon ladies, their cosmetic representatives across the planet. Now, I've heard varying numbers between 6 million and 7.5 million Avon ladies around the world. But basically, as they go through there today, they are talking about and they are looking to work through their micro businesses in many cases by the use of Avon and the use of selling the product through Avon. What we, in conjunction with SAP, and at the same time in conjunction with Deloitte Consulting, is created an environment which basically pulled all of those pieces together and allowed Avon to integrate not only with SAP CRM, but SAP ERP, so that entire logistical exercise is available out there for their representatives out in the field to go figure out where their orders are, enter orders, go get collateral, and all of those other things. So that's kind of where that process was coming from. That is how that integration happened. And as I said, Deloitte Consulting was the integration partner around the outside of this and was very much involved in that. and also at the same time, obviously, SAP from an integration perspective, and some of our integration capability was built specifically around what we needed to go do with SAP ERP and SAP CRM. Now, in terms of value to the partner, and I need a piece of paper for this because I had to write the numbers down, but if you go look at that, Avon, from a revenue perspective to eGain in that process with the partners was basically, $2 million worth of licenses and $3 million worth of cloud services are basically, to date, is what we have received from a product-centric perspective. And then obviously the services component around the outside of that is in addition to that. What they use today around the eGain product set, as you can see from this slide here, is really the different. So we've got the knowledge base, obviously, which is very key in pulling all of those components together. We've got guided help, the message center. You can read that as well as anybody else. But the important thing out there is those are the products, but their implementation inside of the client was done by a partner. So that was key there. Now, the other thing you notice as you start to talk about this, because we are a very transformational platform when we start talking about the business and where it's coming from, one of the things you also notice is that we are starting to allow our clients to go out there and differentiate themselves from their competition. So some of them get very nervous about being talked about directly because obviously it tells the competition what they're doing and they kind of want to protect that a bit. So the next two I'm going to talk about, they're a little bit anonymous, but the vertical is very clear. But I also want to talk about that. So the next one I want to talk about is a telecommunications giant. They have been a big customer of ours for a significant period of time now and have deployed pretty much on a global basis the eGain solution into every one of their country-level divisions. As you can see from this slide, we're actually in 8 major markets with them today and providing that capability. Now that was done in conjunction with our partner, Infosys. And so that deployment capability was gone through. Now, more importantly, Infosys, as a result of that process, have built a bench around our capability. And that is allowing them to go look at other capabilities around other customers that they're already in, because now they have a bench that they can reuse on a regular basis. If you go look at this, what you will also see is that engagement from a product perspective valued to us was about $8 million. So you can see from that that there are some significant dollar values available at the product level. And you know, like I do, that any product sale results in a multiplier effect from a services perspective, which, quite frankly, that is where our partner revenue needs to be, as well as obviously a component around the product sell itself. The third one I want to talk about is a major North American-based insurance provider in the property and casualty space. Again, we're talking about a large implementation. We're talking about a strategic transformation inside of their business. We're talking about a very big go-to-market. There are a number of partners involved in there. From my perspective, we're really focused around CSC as the partner, implementation partner around the outside of this. But as you can see from this slide, we're talking about supporting 9,000 contact center and field agents out there using our product in that space. And we've got our partner CSC doing the implementation and actually currently working with us at looking at that and saying, okay, so what can we do with the customer together with eGain for 2014, 2015 and beyond as that program continues to roll out. From a value point of view, from a product perspective, we're talking there about $4 million worth of software licenses, and we're also talking about $14 million worth of ongoing cloud services that we've sold into there to date. So again, substantial product revenue in all 3 of those spaces. So I think from that point of view, what I've tried to do there is set the scene that says if we work together and the entire organization of eGain today is set up and geared and ready to work with you as a partner to enable you to go win at the client face and provide a quality service to the client so that the client is happy with what is happening and is happy with the solution that's in place and the service that you and eGain are providing together going forward. And that's what we do every day. And I will tell you that the people that have taught us that is the relationship with Cisco and their partners as we've learned through that process. And I will also tell you that we're continuing to learn, but that's really what it's all coming from. Oops, went the wrong way. So now what I want to talk about is our partnering philosophy. You can call it motherhood and apple pie if you want, but in reality what we're really talking about and what my goal is in putting all of this together is that every one of you as a partner out there should expect to be treated the same way. And, ultimately we will stratify between, diamond, gold, platinum, silver, whatever we want to go call it. But at the end of the day, in terms of the quality of the enablement process that you will receive at each one of those stages, it will be the same, and we will deliver it in the same way. There's several people in this room today from eGain that their job is to enable you on an ongoing basis. They understand that, they have worked with me and with the team going forward, and so we've got that structure coming into place. But from my point of view, we've got to create a single view so that you as a partner can look into us and know and expect to get a series of services that you feel comfortable with. We want to enable quality customer engagements. We want you to be successful. We want the customer to be successful. We want to have that ongoing, continuous growth of the footprint inside of the customer and go on down that journey together. We need a repeatable engagement process. I don't want to have to go reinvent that wheel every single time that we find an opportunity together. I want us to know this is the way it works. This is what's going to happen. These are the components that are out there. And then as new partners come on board, etc., we're going to go figure out how it is. But the most important part out of that piece is going to be to go build a profitable business model. All right? There is no point in me losing money working with you and you losing money working with your clients. It doesn't work in the long term. And so at the end of the day, I've got to make sure that whatever we do ends up as a profitable business model for you guys so that you can have the confidence to go invest and create a business for yourselves that will be complementary to what we're trying to do here. I need to provide the tools. I need to provide the tools that will allow you to go out there and to plan and to develop and to execute that plan. So, it's a question of providing you with the toolkit to go make those decisions and go make those investments. And then at the end of the day, between us, we need to manage the plan together to make sure that that plan is being achieved. I'm a great believer in the fact that if you have a plan and you're not meeting the plan, then is that because we're not doing the right things, or is that because the plan's wrong? If the plan's wrong, we need to change the plan. And we need to go manage against the plan. It needs to have a foundation. I have watched too many times people go build business plans together, and then it's the last time they look at it. Well, if it didn't have any value, we shouldn't have done it in the first place and saved everybody a lot of time. Business plans have value. It helps us build an expectation on both sides. We need to have a consistent location for you to go find the information that you need. Where is the training plan? What does the training plan look like? What can I get trained on? When's that going to happen? Where's the agreements that I need to go create this specific, arrangement together? What does the collateral look like? Where are the videos that I need so I can put them in front of my client? All of that stuff, going to come back to the same place. At the end of the day, that all sits inside of what some of you already know as EcoNet, and we are continuing to rebuild that as we go forward. It is a work in progress, but a lot of that data today is new, consistent, and clearly defined information. And it will become the single source of fresh content going forward. So I encourage all of you to engage and get yourself registered to EcoNet if you aren't already. We have here kind of decided if you will hand your business card to the young ladies at the front desk, they will register you on EcoNet and send you an email with giving you the registration information if you'd like to go do that. That will save you some time. If not, just go to the eGain.com website, go through the partnering, go to register, and register yourselves on there, and you'll get the same thing. Finally, I'm not trying to build a a community of 1,000 partners. I'm trying to build a community of quality partners who I can trust to go forward and build a revenue stream for us that's profitable and for you that's profitable. That focus is going to come around vertical markets and horizontal markets, but it's not going to be a huge community, but it is going to be one that is profitable pretty much across the board, and that's what I'm really trying to do here. What does the enablement process look like? Some of you have seen variants of this slide. It's really important to understand that as we go down that journey together between eGain and the partner, there is this enablement process that we try and track against. You know, we talk about igniting the passion. A lot of you that are here today have already been through the igniting the passion process. You've already identified that there are some issues out there in the marketplace that we are a perfect fit for. That is, you know, there's some low-hanging fruit, there's something that's more difficult, there's a way to get strategic, there's a way to do big deals. You've seen that already. That's why you're sitting in this room. The reality at the end of the day is that, for me, is what the Ignite process is all about. Understanding that piece and coming to that conclusion yourselves is where you start this journey, and ultimately then bring yourself to a point where you've got your business plan. You move from there to sales enablement. I have to teach you how to sell the product. You know, and there's different levels of how to go do that. There's different messages that go around the outside of it. But at the end of the day, what I'm teaching you to do is go sell it. Is go in front of a customer and talk about the right components and deliver the right messaging. But on the other side of that is ask the right questions. And also, what does the customer look like? What does a good customer look like? So that's where I'm trying to get to with a lot of that stuff. Once we've got to that point, we obviously need to train your teams to deliver the product efficiently. We spent a lot of time looking at the various swim lanes of an implementation program. And I've got that chart, and some of you have already seen it. But the reality at the end of the day is if you look at that chart, you will see that 85% of that chart today is stuff that we believe you can do out of the box day one. There is a small part of that, 15 to 20% of it, that we believe that we have an expertise in today that we believe that we can offer you as an opportunity to enable yourselves, but also at the same time, if you're in an engagement and you need help, that's what we would like to be able to offer you either as a partner of yours underneath your program management, or on the other side, we can do it individually, but we will decide that together. But what we really want to do is we want to enable you guys to go do that delivery yourselves. Then we get to the point where, you know, everybody's been trained, everybody's been certified, everybody's working together. We have delivered in that program a series of now go-to-market plans, round tables, lead generation capability, and we can go do all of those things, because the next part of this thing is we've got to take it from individual opportunities to a broader market attack. Ultimately, we get to joint solutions, which will take you into the big money, and that's where we're trying to get to from that point of view. So the process is pretty straightforward from that point of view. I'm not going to go into this one. This is the detailed components underneath all of those bars in that bar chart before you saw it. Those are the key pieces that you're looking at that basically talk about, so these are the kinds of things that we're going to do together. This is the way that we build the enablement process to make you successful out there in the marketplace. Before I go on to the next piece, has anybody got any questions? Stunned everybody to silence. Okay. So, where are we today? As you said right up front, Cisco is our key partner. They are the people that have taught us a lot of lessons about how we need to do this. AJ Berkeley, who is sat at the back of the room somewhere, I believe, has been a key architect of that process from the eGain perspective, and has put a lot of that program together. So they are one of the 5 pillars that we have out there today, which are the technology providers that we believe are key to our future and our success. That one is the most mature of our partnerships today. All right? We have now recently appointed a lead for the SAP relationship. I think everybody has understood that follows this space, particularly around CRM, that SAP CRM is, it has a lot of penetration in the marketplace, but is not viewed as one of the best CRMs that are out there. It has a lot of gaps. It also has a lot of issues around the way it competes against the likes of Oracle and the likes of Salesforce, because they tell a more complete story around customer engagement and multi-channel capability and knowledge management. So SAP is a key target for us. We've just appointed a guy by the name of John Carpenter. He is my SAP Business Development Director, and he is beginning to build out a similar program to the one we see with Cisco today, and that's really key. I, at the moment, have taken responsibility for the next 3, and until such time as we get them to a level of maturity that works, we're obviously partnering up and teaming up with Microsoft, particularly around their Dynamics product, because again, they see the same issues around their product in terms of the white space that's not being serviced by their product today. So we're seeing a lot of interest there from Microsoft themselves. And then obviously, we already integrate to Salesforce and Oracle, even though they're direct competition for us. The reality at the end of the day is we have customers out there that says, will you do this and give us knowledge and the other things that you do better than the other guys do? Can you integrate? And the answer is absolutely, and we can go do that. So those are the technology pillars upon which we're building all of this. Around that, the ecosystem we're building around it, of course, is each one of those has an ecosystem of themselves. So we talk a lot to the systems integrators, and what are we talking about out there? We're talking to the big guys, so we're talking to Accenture and Deloitte and Pricewaterhouse and those guys, because they are the influencers inside of that, Fortune 500 customer base that really kind of are trying to elevate the conversation about business transformation. You go to each of their websites, you go look at customer engagement. They've all got white papers. They've all got a position. They are all saying basically the same thing. This is the era of customer engagement. And you've got to get it right, otherwise your competition are going to eat you alive. So that thing is what they're talking to their customer base about. It is it's a message that is becoming very well received inside of the large clients, because they've all decided that they need to go fix it. There was a paper out there about 2 weeks ago from Accenture that basically said there's $1.3 trillion floating in the marketplace today from individuals who are open to move from one customer to their competitor because they're dissatisfied. And that's what they've already identified in that space in North America. $1.3 trillion is up for grabs. It's probably a lot bigger than that, but that's what they've been able to identify. Obviously, we're talking to the service providers. Service providers own a lot of real estate inside of the big players inside of North America. I talked about CSC. I talked about Infosys, but Tata's out there, a whole bunch of others. So they're out there. They're getting enabled. They've got a bunch of these things that are out there to go enable that stuff. We've got the resellers. The reseller community, I believe, are absolutely crucial in delivering niche capability into very clearly defined market spaces. And I am absolutely committed to making sure that they can build a profitable business around me and my product. I am absolutely committed to them being able to have the confidence to know that they can go into the marketplace, and this goes back to the focus thing, that they can go out there, they can compete against my competition, and they can win. And I want to help them go do that. So the reseller community is absolutely key from that point of view. And then there are additional ISVs around the outside of that that have additional capability that we integrate with. And there's a couple of you in the audience today that we can provide some additional capability to your product set and your product suite, which will allow you to expand the footprint of what you're selling and create a much more complete solution to that marketplace. So as you look down the side there, you've got, as you can see, so we've got the ISV business development and the 5 ISVs that are out there. We want to drive those horizontal practices. We want to do all of those things. We want to come to a common management structure around the outside of that, and we talk about business plan. I talked about that before. It's about pipeline management. At the end of the day, we've got to get to a consistent pipeline management capability. We've got to understand together what is the pipeline, what is the cycle inside of that pipeline for each one of those opportunities? And what can I do, and my team do, and eGain as a corporation do, to make sure that you have the tools necessary to go win that business? Am I seeing, or are you just stretching your arms? And then, finally, the go-to-market plan as well. So we're doing a series of things at a generalized level to go to market, and so that we can build the buzz in the marketplace, and we're beginning to talk about thought leadership, we're beginning to talk about all of the different components around the outside of that. But at the same time, we're beginning to have very focused discussions with each one of the partners around what is it that you want to do to take our solution together to your client base and have the discussion. You know, do we want to do a series of round tables? Do we want to go to market? Do we want a webinar? Can we use the eGain lead generation capability that we have, and that is, I think, one of the hidden gems of this company, quite frankly. I saw it when I first came on board. I've talked about it ever since. Lead generation always has this kind of sort of two-headed monster thing going on, but at the end of the day, the ability to go create those leads and create a compelling discussion around the outside of it, I think, is really key. So the go-to-market is a key discussion as you build the business plan and as we put resources around the outside of supporting you going forward. So now we talk about partner enablement tools, and we talk about where we're going there. So from a partner support point of view, I think there's three things that I want to talk about. One, obviously, is the enablement itself. And again, it's about putting the pieces together around what do you have there. I've talked about that at the front. I'm talking about it now. And the reality at the end of the day is under one common umbrella, we have all of the capability for all of the different pieces. So we've got training, we've got collateral, we've got the legal structure. They're all available out there on eCain. You can go download them. You can go understand what those pieces are. We've got standard pricing, and then obviously the operational process around the outside of it to make sure that we're managing to that business plan. Yeah.
With pricing, is that on the partner portal, or is that?
At this point, it is separate to the partner portal, but it will ultimately be part of the portal. We basically do the same for every, I mean, it's basically a list price plus discount through the reseller channel. That's what we're doing.
That's already set up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I mean, and again, it's not differentiated from everything else that's going out there. It's this. So I'm using the same pricing people inside of the organization to create the same structure so that you're looking at the same environment going forward. So yes. And we've got that, and you know, I can put you in contact, but as we get down that process, yes, pricing will be consistent with everybody. Did I lose my slide? Oh. There we go. Got it. That's fine. But feel free. Ask questions. This is good. All right. Then we go to the sales support process. So the sales support process is really all around that opportunity management. So understanding what those opportunities are, logging them, tracking them, making sure that they're properly registered so you can be confident that you're working an opportunity that you will get credit for. And ultimately, we understand what we need to do to help you go through that process. Consistent sales messaging around the outside of it. I mean, you're seeing a lot of the sales messaging that's out there today. There are some components of that we need to modify a little bit to be very specific to some areas, and capability that's specific to some areas, but that's what we're doing around sales messaging. The tactics themselves, the how to sell into this space. What we do today is we use a lot of our own sales teams to sit alongside your sales teams to go help you win those deals, because those are the kinds of tactics that we've seen have won in the past. And we will continue to do that, and we will continue to use that as an enablement capability. And then obviously the resourcing around the outside of it, and we're beginning to build those pieces to go make that resourcing work and be the kind of the key contact point inside of the organization to go reach into the different parts of our organization to deliver that capability. And then ongoing, the business plan I've talked about and probably belabored since I started this thing, the pipeline management we've talked about, the go-to-market programs. I absolutely believe that the go-to-market programs and the integration of your people with our marketing teams to understand what we're doing when we're doing it so that you can benefit from those, and at the same time as that's going on, create some that are very specific to yourself and your own go-to-markets are really key. And then from an ongoing point of view, there isn't a relationship out there that doesn't have bumps in the road. And we need to resolve them, and we need to resolve them in an adult manner, and we need to be able to fix them, and we then need to move forward from that point together. So that's really where I'm trying to get to. We talk about partner acquisition and what that means in the Ignite process. I'm not going to belabor the pieces that are out there, but those are the components that are under that piece. And we look very much around how do we make those components work? How do we deliver them to you as a series of data points that you can use to do your own planning? Then the enablement program, I'm going to talk about the training programs that are out there at the moment and where we're going with that. And then finally, the ongoing partner support process. And right at the top of that line, I think, is the key message I want to deliver. This entire organization is lined up behind making the partner community work. We see the value of our partners. We see the value that they can bring us, and the multiplier effect of that process going forward into the marketplace. It's the one way we scale. It's the one way we scale quickly. This is the moment on the wave when we believe that we need to be making our big bet. You partners are part of that, the start of that process of making that big bet and making sure that we move forward together. So that's the baseline from that point of view. So what I want to do now is, we've talked a lot about enablement, and we've talked a lot about the mechanics around the enablement and what that really means and how we manage it and how we've got a team that's managing the different technology silos. But the key to success going forward is our ability to educate you on who we are and what we are and how you work with the different components of our product. So when I came in, I sat down with our training manager. He's at the back of the room there. The distinguished guy with the white hair and the beard. You'll see him at the back. Patrick Sullivan. He has a training program and a training structure, and what we've done is we've sat there and developed that process so that it can be very visible to you. But more importantly, is the same training program as we use to train our own people. So at the end of the day, you've got the same level of training and you've got the same level of competence coming out of it, which is really important. But we basically use and continue to use the same components around the way we train our customers, the way we train our sales force, the way we train our internal support people, including our professional services guys, and yourselves. And it's the same training program. So, over time it will modify and change as we deliver new products into the portfolio and we continue to expand it. That training program will continue to develop and continue to expand. But that is going to be the way that we deliver up our expertise to you as a community going forward. We've got 3 primary channels in our training program. One is sales training. We have to do a good job of teaching our partner community and our own sales force how to sell the product. And it's not just product sales literature and product sales capability and how to talk about chat and how to talk about video chat versus email versus knowledge management and those kinds of things. There's that, but there's also that kind of higher level messaging around this is how we go to market and this is where we go to market and this is how I get from, the head of the call center down here, where typically that conversation's going to be with an individual that's already been told what the answer is and needs to go find a technology to implement, all the way up the chain to an individual, hopefully at the C-level within a large enterprise that has been given the charter to go re-engineer the company, and how they do that and what they do and what that messaging needs to be. And quite frankly, the higher up that chain you get, the bigger the deal. The more money that we can all make out of it, and the more strategic it becomes inside of the organization. So there's a lot of that kind of discussion going on out there, and that's really where the sales training is going to. It's got pieces of it now. It will continue to get better as we continue to try and, learn by our process. Going from there, we got the technical training. Technical training is really about teaching your bench how to implement our product. And you'll see in a second, it's got several different levels to it, but at the end of the day, it's really all about enabling the delivery process of the eGain solution. And then finally, there's also the ability to train customer support individuals inside of your organizations to do at least level 1 support, so that, because in many cases you are delivering an integrated solution that is eGain plus other stuff. And so we would much rather that you, who understands all of the different components, have at least the first bite of a problem to figure out where it might reside, and then deliver that to us when you've identified that it's an eGain problem and not a desktop problem or something else. So we've got that capability too. So those are the 3 components, and this is the way that Patrick is building his strategy to go make sure that you guys are properly enabled. So from a sales training point of view, this is what we do. So as you can see, from a product awareness training, we're talking about, the different components of our portfolio and what they mean and how to work them. We do a little bit of hands-on experience as well, so that people know how to recognize what they're looking at and how that works, and some basic understanding of the application business process around which we work. So those are the key components around the product. Then we move to the next bit, which is, as I've said before, is really around the opportunity identification. What does a good customer look like? What are the key questions you got to ask? What are the key, what if I could show you questions that you need to go talk to, and who should you be delivering that question to? Because the question you deliver to a call center manager is going to be a very different question from the question you deliver to a CMO. So we want to help you understand those pieces, because that will change some of the pain points that individual might be looking at. So we're going to do a lot of that. And then at the end of the day, obviously there's a certification process that comes out at the end of that that's really important in our overall management of the partner community and where people are. We want to understand who we have certified as being, qualified to sell the product. Going forward from there, we're talking about technical training. You look at technical training, and again, you're looking at that kind of multi-channel, all-in-one approach. It's a 5-day class. It's the Customer Experience Hub overview. It's the intro to our product suite. It's all of those different components that are listed down there. But again, it's very much that kind of technical view of all of the different components of the eGain product portfolio. You move from there to the next piece, which is very much the advanced technical administration. So, how do you administer this product out there? How do you go make that work? How do you kind of get it customized to a place that the customer feels it's their implementation and it's integrated into their environment? So we talk about we've got a 5-day class. There's the architecture, the implementation and deployment of that, and all of the different components there. At that level 1 completion there, we do a certification, all right? So you become a certified technical administrator. Key component, again, want to understand what that is, want to understand who's out there that is certified, so that we can, start to understand what the community looks like inside of the partners, so that we know the ones that are properly certified that will do the job that we're looking for out there. And then moving on from there, the ability and what we want to do is then have those individuals move to the second level, which is where we get into the customization space and the development space, which is shadowing inside of our professional services organization with some formal instruction, but also, getting into the trenches and understanding how that process works with some people that have done it before. So we've done that. We've actually tested that with a couple of our partners already. It seems to be doing very well. So we feel fairly confident that we're on the right track there and we're doing the right things, and it's available out there today. And then finally, we're going to certify those individuals as well so that we can track that capability. And finally, customer support piece. Same start point, 5-day customer engagement hub overview. Technical administration, same again, go through those pieces, certification. So that's pretty much consistent across both pieces. But then what we're talking about is taking that individual, putting them inside of our customer support group for 2 weeks and helping them understand what that whole customer support issue is and the issue resolution process is and what they need to go do, but also for them to build some contacts inside of the organization within customer service so that they have a reach out person to go to, certify them for that, and then let them go back into your organization and be an effective customer support individual inside of your organization. So that's the key from that point of view. So we talked about standardized agreements. So I sat down with Corporate Counsel. Corporate Counsel have created basically a master agreement with a series of different attachments depending on what kind of partner you want to be. And so there is a reseller attachment, there's an alliance attachment, there is a whole series of other different pieces around the outside of it. There's a bilateral services agreement that you can put in there to go do those things. There's obviously NDAs, we've got all of that stuff. But you can get all of those off Econet. They're all out there today. You can go find them, you can go look at them, you can download them. So that works out really well from that point of view. I've just talked about the 5-step training and certification program to enable us to feel comfortable that we've got the right quality of individuals out there as we start to look at, rolling this thing out. Patrick is publishing a training schedule out through 2014 so that you can put that into your planning going forward. We are working on a continual basis around our collateral and our structured collateral. That collateral is in lots of different forms, white papers, sales, references. We've got videos, those kinds of things. They're all out there today. We are also getting to a place where we've got published quality and productionization standards, because at the end of the day, as you start to deploy this capability, we want to ensure that you can deploy this into production and you follow some quality standards that go with it so that we can make sure that what's out there is going to work. So we're working on that one at the moment. There's some pieces of it already in place, but there's a lot more to come around the outside of that. Market development programs we've already talked about, and then the dedicated partner management structure around the outside of that basically says, once we've got a program going together, let's go manage the components and the metrics that go with it. So at the end of it all, we on an ongoing basis can understand, are we hitting the metrics that we thought we were going to have? And are we achieving the goals that we set ourselves? And if we didn't, why not? Because at the end of the day, that's the key to making this thing work. This is the team that supports you in the field. I got my name up there for a couple of them as we start to fill open gaps and all the rest of it. So the bottom line, there's my email address, there's my telephone number. If you need something and one of the other names on here doesn't fulfill what you're looking for, come to me, I'll help you figure it out. We have a counterpart in EMEA, Jim Robertson, very experienced, has a very broad contact within the customer community out there. His email address and his telephone number. So if you have an EMEA situation or a client that wants to do something in EMEA, Jim will help you. If you want me to make that introduction, I can do that too. That's important from that point of view. I also have, and he's sitting in the room somewhere, but I can't see anybody because I got the lights in my eyes, but I got Tom Depew down there. He is my partner technical architect. So if you have an engagement and you want to understand, so how does this structure look and what do I need to go look at and how does it integrate and what are the key questions I need to ask and what does that technology stack look like, the first person you should turn to is Tom. Tom is the guy that can help you go understand that and can help you design some of that. He has a wealth of experience around eGain, but also he's got one of those consultative delivery backgrounds that he knows the issues that are out there and gets it. And at the end of the day, you can't have a more meaningful conversation around, what do I need to go do, than with somebody who gets it. And Tom gets it. So I highly recommend that you look to Tom to help you out with some of those things. I don't understand how he got, some of those names got messed up. John Carpenter I talked about earlier on. He's only been on board 2 weeks. He has a very strong background in SAP partner management. He came out of another organization. He was their SAP partner manager. He knows their ecosystem. He knows how to connect in there. He knows what we need to go do. He's building his business plan at the moment. He's looking very much to the SAP partner ecosystem as a route to his marketplace. So you'll see that, continuing out there. Oh, I know what's happened. So Cisco Global Alliance Manager in this slide got messed up. All right, apologies on that one. That is AJ, and he's out there somewhere. But anyway, so AJ Berkeley is the individual. Again, on Econet and on the partner landing page, AJ's email address and his telephone number are out there, and feel free. He obviously, from a Cisco point of view, is responsible for the success of that partnership and the delivery into the ecosystem that is Cisco's reseller partner network. And so from that point of view, massive thanks to that one, because he's been working it for a couple of years now. And I think, we're beginning to see a good response to that. He has, working with him in that, the equivalent of the Tom Depew at the top level, he has Karthik. Karthik is our partner sales technical support around Cisco. That's his expertise. He's been part of that team for a long time. He's very good at that. So again, he's your go-to person. And I think there was when they redid this slide, there was some duplication going on. Patrick Sullivan, head of training, go-to guy for making sure that you get trained properly. You've got the programs that go do it. You've got the way to go make that work. And ultimately, there's his email address. There's his telephone number if you've got any questions around the outside of that. So what's the call to action? Go get enrolled. Let's figure out who you are, what you are. Let's give you access to what we've got today. Please stay connected inside of there. That will continue to change. It's not, it's a live document, so it will keep getting added to as we put new videos out, as we do more collateral, as we update things. It will all end up going to Econet, and that is a key part of your information base and your data points that you need going forward. Enroll for the training and certification. We do have a 1-week class scheduled for Sunnyvale in December that we'd encourage you to enroll for. And it's the technical part, it's the 5-day technical part for that, which I think is important to go do that. We've got the same thing scheduled for London in January of next year, and that will be the start of our regular training programs going forward. And then obviously we will be publishing the 2014 schedule as soon as we've got it available. Complete the standard partner framework agreement. Take a look at it. Send it back to me. Any redlining you need to do, let's do that. Let me put it in front of our corporate counsel. She is very, very good at this. She'll turn it around very quickly. As most of you that have signed an NDA through me over the last couple of months, you know that those things turn around within 24 hours. So you'll see some very responsive actions from our side around the outside of it. So that basically is our training program, our enablement program. That's what we see as the core capability that we need to offer up to you as a partner community to ensure that you're properly enabled to go build your business. We want you to have a profitable business, and we want you to have faith in us as a group that will support you and help you be successful, because that's all we can really do at the end of the day, is help make you successful, because your success will be our success, and that's really where we're coming from. Thank you.